Okay, what is up guys? Archon tonight, I'm here bringing you guys another YouTube. In today's video, we're going to be going over the new video that Riot uploaded on YouTube, talking about the item system updates that's coming in the preseason. So we're going to get a little bit more in-depth information, maybe see some of the items that are coming. We talked about this about a month ago, I think, when they posted in a dev update on the website that, the rework was coming. They were going to rework, 30% of the items. Some of the 30% weren't going to get touched, and 33% were just going to be updated a little bit or something like that. But anyway, I did a video on that. If you guys want to go check out my thoughts about the whole rework as a whole, go watch that video. This video is just going to be talking about the changes that they showcase here. So let's go ahead and take a look here.
Now let's get into our gameplay plans for preseason. If you haven't heard, we're working on a complete overhaul to items in League of Legends. We've improved items and chunks over the years, but we've never really had the opportunity to take the time and do a full pass on the whole system at once. So going into the second decade of League, we want to make sure we're improving the foundations the game is built on, and just modernizing them over time so they continue to feel high quality. As a part of the update, we're also going to create a whole brand new shop interface that's easier to use and smarter about the recommendations it makes.
So this is the interesting thing. The shop looks pretty cool here. I'm not gonna lie. I like the updates to all the different items, or at least the images and whatnot. As for the shop itself, it's showing you suggested items that are going to be good against, Senna, Yasuo for Rabs. Hourglass is good against, Yasuo, Lee. I think that that's a pretty neat feature. I wonder if it updates in real time. It updates in real time based on like what's going on in the game and who's building what. Then I think that this is going to be a really good system for new players. At the same time, though, it does kind of hinder them a bit because it doesn't necessarily explain why you're building those items. I mean, yes, it does say Magic Pen, but it doesn't explain like why Magic Pen is good in this situation. It just says Magic Pen. So I do think that they should maybe find a way to still teach new players like why the items are good for the certain situations that they're in. As for upper tier players, this is kind of a nerf to them in a lot of ways because now, like I said, newer players don't have to worry about figuring out why said item is good. That, hey, I just need to build this item in order to beat this player. So it kind of takes away from the item build paths and that a little bit. I do like it, like I said, for new players. I think the shop itself, like the interface itself, looks pretty neat. You got your boots over here, so they're no longer cluttered in all the other items. You got your starting items, like up here, your potions and whatnot. I'm sure if you hit this arrow out, you probably get your refillable, your other elixirs, and what have you. And if you just don't care about this, and you want to still use all the items and go pick personally, like, what you want in your build, and you don't really care about Riot's suggestions, you can still use all items, which I think is nice. And if you have item sets for certain champions, you can use those as well. Also, the needlessly large rod is now a GP steering wheel for his pirate ship. So there's that too. Big update there, big update. That Rabs is now built out of 2 GP steering wheels.
The biggest change we're making is the introduction of a new type of item called Mythics. Mythic items are the cornerstone in your builds, with big effects that define your playstyle from game to game. Each Mythic also grants unique bonus stats to your other completed items, so they shape your build even after their initial purchase.
Sounds interesting.
You can only wield one Mythic item at a time, so you'll have to make careful strategic choices when deciding which one to build each game.
I wonder if you can change them out if you need to on the fly. Doesn't sound like it.
Burst or keep yourself alive without taking enemy fire. Then Crimson Shield Bow will give you the sustain and defense.
So that was interesting. It basically gave him a PD shield. So I wonder if that means PD is gone. I wonder if the other Zeal items are also going to be gone in the preseason rework. It'd be interesting to see how that all shapes up, because this is basically doing what PD does. But anyway, what Crimson Shield Bow is a 3,400 gold item, plus 50 attack damage, plus 15 attack speed, plus 20% crit strike chance, and plus 12% lifesteal. When you take damage that would reduce you below 30%, gain a 150 to 500 health shield for 3 seconds, and 20% increased lifesteal. So basically it's like a BT mixed with a Phantom Dancer, except for it doesn't have the ghost effect on it. As for the Mythic passive, empowers other legendary items with plus 8 armor and magic resist. So since it can't empower itself, right, that means that the other 5 slots you can have plus 8 armor, plus 8 magic resist for free. So by the end, once you're full build, that you're just going to have plus 40 armor and plus 40 magic resist. That seems pretty strong and pretty tanky, honestly. That's about a Gargoyle Stoneskin plate worth of stats.
Or maybe you can trust your team to keep you alive instead of go all in
before
on
the active or before the passive happens.
Slayer.
So Behemoth Slayer, 3,400 gold, plus 60 attack damage, plus 25 attack speed, plus 20% critical strike chance. Every third attack deals 80 to 240, plus 30% bonus 80 additional true damage. Huh. Where have I heard of a passive that every third attack you deal true damage? What champion is that? I can't remember. I think it starts with a V, right? Couldn't possibly be Vayne, right? So basically everybody is Vayne now? Could you imagine this item on Lucian, by the way? Lucian or Tristana? And that's before the Mythic passive. The Mythic passive empowers other legendary items with plus 5% critical strike damage. Yeah. Okay, so Tristana's going to be insane. She already gets bonus damage on her E from her crit strike chance. So now she gets an extra 5% whenever she critical strikes. And then you times that by 5 for the full build, potentially. And that's what? 25% bonus critical strike damage. So far, I will say with the marksman items, I think Riot has kind of missed the mark a little bit here. Because all this is going to do is make AD carries insanely... It's either going to make them insanely broken, or, you know, extremely safe with the PD Bloodthirster type passive from the last item. Yeah. Kind of curious how Vayne interacts with this as well, because every third attack, like I said, deals the bonus true damage. So does that mean that she deals extra true damage from her W as well? So tanks are literally just going to get insta-killed?
For the games where you need mobility to dodge incoming threats and reposition to make big plays,
Right, because AD carries are now all Lucian. So these items are going to take from the identities of some of the other champs that are currently in the game. Like, Lucian is known for dashing to be able to dodge skill shots. Vayne can tumble out of skill shots with her dash, her small dash. But now everybody's going to have access to a dash, potentially, if you want to go that route for your games. Interesting.
Position to make big plays, Gale Force is...
So, Gale Force, 3,400 gold, plus 60 attack damage, plus 15 attack speed, plus 20% crit strike chance. Dash a short distance, cannot cross walls, which is the important thing, and deals 105 to 240, plus 30% bonus AD magic damage to a lowest health nearby enemy. Damage increases with enemies missing health. So basically it's an execute. It deals more damage with health. I'm pretty sure at some point this is going to get changed to physical damage, because Bork was kind of in the same boat where it used to deal magic damage, and it made itemizing against AD carries a bit ridiculous. And I know that was, I think, per auto. I think that was the passive that was magic damage, whereas the active, I think, was physical, or maybe it was vice versa. Maybe it was the active that was magic damage. But either way, like, this sounds really, really strong, especially on certain champions. Like, can you imagine Jhin with this? The Mythic passive empowers other legendary items with 2% movement speed, so you're automatically going to get 10% bonus move speed just for building this item once you're full build. Could you imagine, like I said, Jhin with this item? He could literally dash to dodge your hard CC or whatever on him, and then have the ability to run you down with his crit autos. Especially if the Zeal items are still there. We haven't seen whether or not the Zeal items are gone or if they're still there. And they give plus 7% move speed, and you're typically building 2 of those. So you're getting like plus 27% move speed, essentially. I'm sorry, plus 24% move speed. That's before he gets, the boots of mobility, and that, or not mobility, but swiftness or whatever, and then his passive. And then you also have to throw in celerity from the rune tree. Yeah, Jin's going to be amazing with Gale Force, I would imagine. It'll be interesting to try, for sure. Like, there's going to be some interesting build paths from just these 3 items that they've showcased for the Mythic passives in that. We obviously haven't seen, tanks, bruisers, mages, so we can't really judge too heavily. But from what I'm seeing here, this just sounds insane.
Dash might be the tool you need. Beyond Mythics, we're also assessing all 200 items in the current shop to ensure that they have a clear purpose, healthy gameplay, and are satisfying to use. For a lot of League items, they already hit this bar, so you can expect some classic items like Rabadon's Death Cap. to remain nearly unchanged.
So wraps will be the
For
same.
items that are falling a bit short, though, will keep their core identity intact, but update their design to meet the new standard.
I wonder if IE will
For
be the
example,
same.
Steric's gauge will be about burst defense still, but tied more clearly to his teamfight strength. And in some cases,
So I wonder what she means by teamfight strength. I wonder if the Steric shield's going to go up, kind of like Gargoyle Stone Skin or whatever it is, the plate, where if you're near a certain amount of enemies, you get the bonus magic resistant armor. I wonder if Steric's will increase its shield based on how many enemies are nearby.
some items offered effects that were really far off the mark to salvage, overlap too heavily with other options, or whose intended purposes can be better served in other ways. And so we'll be saying goodbye to a portion of the shop, but you can rest assured that those open spots will be put to good use. We'll be creating new items to fill gaps in the current system. Among other things, that means that, yep, we're finally going to be marking items that are specifically designed for AP Bruiser champions, like the...
So this is interesting. Cursed Demon Helm. This is not a mythic item either, by the way. Cursed Demon Helm. 3000 plus 80 ability power plus 400 health. Abilities applied, not going to pronounce that embrace. For 4 seconds, not going to pronounce that embrace. The target takes 2% of their maximum health as magic damage every second. So that means they take 8% for the full duration, and while their enemies are affected by it, you gain 20%, or sorry, not 20%, but 20 flat armor and magic resist every second while enemies are affected. Wait, what? Is this hard capped? Let me reread this to make sure that I'm understanding this, because this sounds broken if I'm reading this the way that I think it's read. So the target takes 2% of the maximum health as magic damage every second. That's not the broken part. That's just a typical Leandry's. You gain 20 armor and magic resist every second while enemies are affected. So that means every second, for 4 seconds essentially, you gain 20 armor, 20 magic resist. So at its max, you're gaining 80-80. And that's not including if you reapply it. I wonder if it can be reapplied or if it has to work its full duration before it can be reapplied again, maybe? If it can constantly be reapplied, then that would mean that this scales infinitely. There's no way that that's the intended effect, right? It probably has to fall off before it can be reapplied, would be my guess. Could you imagine just, keep zapping somebody with, like, Swain or something, and you just end up with, like 500 armor, 500 magic resist, running everybody down, unkillable forever. So there's either a hard cap, it has to fall off before it can be reapplied, or the item's just broken. One of those 3 options. It's one of those 3, right? I am glad to see AP Bruisers, though, getting items that are specific for them, because right now there's really nothing. You kind of have, Cursed Helm, or not Cursed Helm, but Abyssal Mask, you have Leandry's, you could even say Rylai's, I guess. Could be a bruiser item. Adaptive Helm, I guess. You end up kind of building more tank than you do AP. You don't really get a lot of AP items. So it is good to see them get items, but at the same time, I don't want their items to be ridiculously broken that I can't interact with Swain. Please, Riot, let me know if this is legit refreshable or if this falls off and then has to be reapplied. This is scary. This is terrifying. Seeing something like this is terrifying already.
Cursed Demon Helm. All in all, you can expect about a third of the items to remain nearly the same, a third to be similar but improved, and a third to be replaced with these new additions.
And the 1% just disappears out of the game.
For those of you whose eyes glaze over every time you open the shop, this is the update for you. We're going to completely revamp both the recommended and all items shop pages. We redesigned the recommended items page for players who want a more streamlined shop experience. They want to choose between, say, Frozen Heart, Thornmail, or Randuin's based off the game state, but don't enjoy sifting through the shop to find those options.
So this means that the system will tell you which item is best for the situation. So she's going a bit more in depth on what I talked about earlier. So if you know which item you need to build, why not just go find that item and, use the search bar and just type Frozen or whatever, or Randuin's or Thornmail? I don't think it's that hard, and it doesn't hurt you to do that, like, in-game, honestly. If you know what item you need to build for the matchup that you're in, then you really don't need the recommended tab at all, because you're more knowledgeable about the game. This should be more for new players who have no idea what items that build and, like, what interacts with what. Like, do I need Magic Pen against targets that don't have, any type of MR? Yeah, you'll do closer to true damage to them with your abilities because of the base armor or the base MR in that. But no, typically you want to build more damage like Rabs. You know, am I facing a Jhin who's going to constantly deal crit damage? Then you probably want a Randuin's. If you know that, then there's no point in using the recommended tab. It's just to be lazy, I guess.
Recommended items will surface sets of item choices that adapt as the game progresses and evolve patch by patch based on.
So it sounds like it will update in real time based on what's going on in your game. And like she said, it's going to go patch by patch as well. So if you whatever the top players are using, they'll get recommended for, like, let's say the top players are using like tank items or something, and those tank items are going to get recommended to the tanks. You'll then get recommended items that counter those items that they're being recommended. This is going to be a mess. I can't imagine this will work very well, just because Riot's spaghetti code will somehow break this, I'm sure, at some point.
How the best players are building each champion. The all items page is still for players who want quick access to
And
as
that's
much
good.
of the shop
As you can see, you can still
possible,
search.
and rely on muscle memory to purchase items quickly.
I do like that they're sorted by build materials, build pass. So you have your basic, your epic, so on and so forth. I think that that is really big. Just doing this alone makes the all items tab that much more manageable to scroll through. So that way you're not like looking for like a certain item alphabetically that, you know, builds from another item. You can see like your mid-game items, your early game items, and your starter items.
Things won't move around game to game or champ to champ.
Wait, why does this large rod look different than the one that was shown in the... I guess they haven't updated all of the things yet. A better question is, why is Syndra building attack speed boots? Why is she being recommended attack speed boots? I guess attack speed Syndra is confirmed.
But will highlight current popular items to make them easier to spot. You can expect to see all of these updates on PvE soon for an extended testing period, and be on the lookout for an article with more details soon.
So behavioral system updates. All I'm gonna say is for this is that make it to where if you report somebody in champ select, then the system can take into effect right away what's going on, especially if they're like talking and just, you know, shit talking everybody in the lobby. Give them the chat ban while you're in champ select, so that way you don't have to deal with them. If they're, you know, doing ridiculous things in the champ select, like I said, talking and saying, telling people to go die and stuff like that, like, you know, the really toxic stuff, auto ban them, give them like a 24-hour ban or something, make the game dodge, because you can clearly tell that they're not going to be in the mental state to actually play the game. Make them dodge. Worst case, just eat the 5-minute timer if you don't want to outright ban them for 24 hours or whatever from ranked. Still allow them to go play normals or ARAM or something, so that way they can still play the game. You guys can still get money for skins, even if they're banned off ranked. They can still do some other things in the game and keep them playing. You know, I'm looking out for you, Riot, here. I'm looking out for you. Because, you know, the mentality of it's just normals, who cares, is quite strong. So I'm sure nobody in normals is going to care if some guy comes in spouting like nothing but hate words in their game, because, you know, it's just normals, who cares, right? I'm a little salty, as you can tell. That mentality should be abolished, essentially. That's what I believe. But as for like running it down and feeding, I think that those reports, those should hold a bit more weight. The system should look into how those players died based on like how much damage was taken by the turret, because you can easily tell if somebody's running it down underneath turret based on how much damage from the turret they've taken in the game. It's not as simple as saying, hey, he went 0-13 or whatever, ban him, because supports do tend to go really, really negative if they're not taking kills. But if they have a high amount of assists, then that's one way of telling and deterring the system from banning somebody who had, you know, a rough game. Maybe he was playing Blitzcrank or something and tried to make some plays that didn't pan out, and, you know, he kept trying to be utility for his team, even though his team didn't want to fight. It's not the same thing as, you know, straight running it under turret or running it into the enemy team. It's just, you know, things didn't work out. So that'd be one way for them to detect people running it down and inting. I do think that AFK players, if somebody AFKs in your game, that should be an auto ban. Unless something comes up, unless, like, you know, there's an actual legit reason, but there's no way to actually determine that there was a legit reason. I could easily say that, you know, something happened, I need to AFK for a bit, like, you know, my kid fell down or something, I have to go check on him to make sure that he's okay. In reality, I could just not want to play the game and walk away. But I'm trying to play the pity card so that you don't report me. So there's no clear way to actually, you know, make AFK not feel bad. But at the same time, I think the way that you do it for ranked games would be if somebody AFKs, and I think she talks about this. I've watched this a couple times, guys. I've done this video like 3 or 4 times already. Got interrupted on a bunch of them. So the way she talks about is that if you get an AFK player, you're allowed within like an earlier portion than 15 to forfeit. So that way you can get out of your match quicker. You'll still take an LP loss, but you'll take a mitigated LP loss. Whereas I believe the player that left the game AFK'd, he will take the full loss. So I think that's a step in the right direction. And if it continues to happen throughout multiple games, then obviously they need to remove said player from ranked for a little while. Do what I said before, ban them from ranked for like 24 hours to 48 hours. I think that would be fine to show, hey, stop AFKing in your ranked games. And this happens, I would say make it happen if they amass a certain amount of AFKs within like a week or even, you know, a couple day period. Because realistically, if you're playing the game, you shouldn't AFK more than a couple times throughout a given week, realistically. At that point, you're just trolling your team. If you know that things are going on and you have to get called away, like me personally, I play the game, like I stream the game like 8 to 12 hours when I do play. So within that time frame, yes, there's like maybe 1 to 2 games within a day that I may get pulled away through no fault of my own. And it does suck. But at the same time, if somebody's AFKing like 5 to 6 times a day, then that means that they clearly aren't putting in the time to play the game. They're randomly just doing it to fill time in their lives. It's not as important as what it could be for some other person. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling about the report system. Let's just go ahead and close this out before I keep going on a tangent. Anyway, if you guys like the video, let me know by liking the video, obviously. I won't ask you guys to subscribe, but at least like the video so I know what content to look for you guys to like, or that you guys do like. The YouTube algorithm is a mess from what I understand. It really hurts content creators that try to do multiple games. Like I try to cover, you know, League of Legends, Hearthstone, World of Warcraft. I try to cover all of these games, Call of Duty, and it punishes me for that because you guys may like a bunch of the League of Legends stuff, let's say, but you guys don't necessarily watch my Call of Duty videos. That hurts me in the algorithm so that when I upload my next League of Legends video, you guys may not see it. The people who are, you know, subbed, they may not get to see it because they'll be like, oh, well, the last video didn't do so well, so maybe this video won't do well either, which is just dumb. The algorithm shouldn't assume things like that. But it does help me if you guys like the videos. And if you guys do like the content, like a couple videos, you know, you're enjoying what I'm doing, then be sure to hit that sub button. I won't ask for a sub right away from one video. That's not correct for, you know, content creators to do. They should put out a couple videos that you enjoy. Maybe go back and look at some of my other videos. If you enjoy the content, you enjoy the information that I provide, then hit that subscribe button. But other than that, guys, hopefully you enjoyed. I will see everybody back here on the next video. Catch you guys later. Peace.